Welcome back to my garage. This video is a bit delayed because I wanted to get this stuff into this video, not in the next one. You'll see. I was going to end the video at this point, but I think you're just as curious as me to know how it behaves with more ignition timing. I've made a curve now. It ramps up to 30 degrees at 6,000 RPM, stays at 30 to 9,000, then ramps down to 15 at 12,000, then further down to 10 at 16, and down to 5 at 18,000, then flatline onwards. This should have it rev better. We'll see. These pipes were just what I could find locally with somewhat the correct shape and cheap. They were on sale. They're definitely not optimal for my purpose here. They're long though, which means the power band won't be as high up in the rev range, which might be good for testing. My enhanced exhaust extraction didn't turn out to be that enhanced. I bought some fittings and stuff. I'm gonna make something better. I'm also hooking up the ignition mate again to confirm that the new coil is working as it should. It's not the new ignition coil's fault, it's probably the pipes. I can't start mellow. I need something hard hitting. I forgot to mention this, it seems, but I've managed to produce an engine that makes 0 horsepower at 10,000 RPM. We reach equilibrium between blower drag and engine power at 10,000 RPM. Great. This long conversion count is not producing enough pressure to do anything here. I was going to do a test run with silicone hose sealing the exhaust. There was a leak here. After thinking about it, that leak would have to be extreme for it to make this much of an effect. We could test just to be sure, but let me show you something. I was in the process of cleaning up the mess after machining the new cylinder, and then I stumbled upon these weird looking chips. Seems like the universe has a plan for me here. Dual rotary exhaust valves. And we can slap some pipes on too. I'll disassemble the cylinder, give it a little lick in the mill, and I'll meet you back at the table. I've made clearance for the rotary valves on each side of the cylinder, and I've drilled a hole straight through. Now this breaks through to the transfers a slight bit. I'm gonna line it with this piece of steel tubing. This way I can drive both rotary valves with one pulley. Will be hard on the belt though. We'll see how it works. Might need to put in some lighter valves, maybe titanium or something. Amongst all the epoxies I've tried, JB Weld is actually one of the better. Plan now is to make 2 new ones of these. I need to go get some bolts of the correct length and some roll pins and some threaded inserts. Someone was stupid enough to drill the tap holes to 6mm, not 5, in a daze yesterday. I'm going to use this 0.5mm washer. I'm adding a 1mm washer to create some clearance. Let me drill that hole and see if it still fits. I'm gonna do the same thing to the pulley, but for that we need to install the cylinder on the engine. It won't fit on this side with that bolt mounting the ignition holder thing. You can just brace that ignition holder plate to the rotary valve though. I'll remove this mount. Sorted. I've pressed a roll pin into one of the drivers. The other ones I'll have to do while on the engine. We need a second rotary valve. I'm making one from the same type of saw blade I made the previous one. You might remember my glue failed. Well, this time I've glued it down and I'm using these bolts to clamp it also. I will do the feature in here first and then clamp it in the middle and then do the contour. I'll have to make that hole a countersunk hole for the tensioner to fit. We have over twice the blowdown area versus before now. We'll try closing the valve earlier. Let's start with fully closed at bottom dead center. This week's first start of previously untested unknown prototype has come. This time with much more blowdown. My predictions are less boost up high, but more power. Maybe. If my brute force approach has circumvented the problems with this porting arrangement, the symmetric transfer thing. Symmetry on paper, not that easy in practice. We're back to running no pipes. I need to make some really short ones. Now I want the post to be pushed back before the rotary valve closes, and it closes at bottom dead center now. We need really short pipes, and the exhaust is really cold. You might find it kind of stupid that I'm just building stuff and testing it without doing proper research and theory and all that stuff. Thing is, I've been living in the theory world for so many years. Now I had the chance to build stuff and test it versus simulating, thinking, talking to people. Just build it. That's my motto now. I should put on shorts and show off my beautiful knees. Abrupt ending to my tuning session there because they called from school and I had to pick up my son, he was sick. Anyways, my drive belt was struggling with one of these heavy rotary valves. It's certainly struggling now with two. It's actually just jumping tooth immediately after starting. No point in testing anymore with those valves or that belt. I'm gonna try carbon fiber. I've ordered some, but I'm impatient. So today is going to be a road trip to go pick some up, to have it sooner. Won't be until the next video though. See you next time. Actually, let's keep going in this video. I drove a whole day to pick up this sheet of 1.5mm carbon fiber. I also ordered this 1mm sheet, which I thought would take much longer to arrive. But we're gonna go with the 1.5 first now. I've already got the tool path ready. Let's cut two valves, assemble, and tomorrow morning we can test it. I'm also gonna cut some relief in the covers to reduce friction. I traced the wrong hole. I'll be back in a second. Clock the other one to this one before I replace the cover. I haven't cut those friction reducing clearance screws I told you about yet. Let's save those for later. Let's try without them first. 0.1. It might not be enough. I'll replace the gaskets with something slightly thicker. There's too much friction. Probably not the weight, but the friction of twin valves, that's the problem. Need to cut those friction reducing clearance grooves and maybe add some graphite pucks. I've got a friend who's got some. They use them in pistons in drag racing. This is our problem here. The valve is sticking to this big continuous surface. This is what's causing all the drag. You can see how the oil sucks the valve to the surface. We need to break up these surfaces with grooves or divots or something to minimize the stiction. I've made tool paths. That's a really hard word for me. In the middle to make grooves. But actually I think it's better to just like golf ball dimple the whole area with a rotary burr. Both sides. Would look much neater and professional to have that done in the middle though. I'll quickly whip up a program and we'll do it that way. More professional. I've ordered new belts and pulleys, wider 15mm versus 10, and a different profile. Not a T profile, but a HTD. Should take the torque better. I have a theory about it being easier for the engine to pull the heavier valves, overcome the blower pressure because of the built-up inertia. That might be the case. They might be better for that, but worse for vibration. But I'm an idiot though. I'll show you why. The purpose of these dimples was to break up the surface, not create so much suction between the valve and the cover. Probably kind of works in a way, but there's a major problem. Imagine the valve having closed the duct. There's high pressure here and low pressure in all of those dimples covered by the valve. I don't want that. I want the same pressure here as behind the valve. We need to create a path for pressure to reach in behind the valve. We need to connect up all these dots. Would have been avoided if I just went with my original idea of continuous grooves. Oh well, live and learn. Give my mill a second and I'll show you the results. Ta-da! Now there's no continuous surface and all the cavities are connected. Whenever there's high pressure here, there's also high pressure in here, behind the valve. The only place where there's a pressure difference is around where it needs to seal. I don't think I need to do this to the casing, because there's never higher pressure on this side versus in the case. We reached the end of the line for this video, for real this time. It will be a couple of days until my new belts and pulleys arrive. I'm going on a week's family vacation now, so the next video will also be a bit delayed. Sorry about that in advance. See you next time.